These are going to be the top 5 reasons why you don't improve in Smash. And I'll admit, there are way more than 5 reasons why someone doesn't improve at this game. But I'm going to go over the main 5 that are not character specific or even skill level specific. So it doesn't matter where you are as far as brand new to the game, you've been playing for a very long time, you might even be someone who competes already. These will apply to you no matter what, all right? So with that being said, number 5, that you always play against the same person. It might be your best friend, it might be a training partner, it might be anything like that. It's more so the idea that you never have any variety in skill level or even characters that you fight against. You're always fighting the same person who has the same habits and they know your habits. So you guys are so locked in when you're fighting that it's essentially clockwork. You're not really trying to explore anything at all. It's more so like, okay, I know what they're going to do all the time. And whether or not you actually consciously realize what they're going to do, you kind of just understand. You have an inkling of an idea to say, okay, they're probably going to jump right here because I've been playing with them for months or years, depending on if you played in Smash 4, Ultimate, anything like that. And they always do the exact same thing, or you slowly progress together. And you're progressing a very, very little bit because of course they're going to get somewhat better. But the fact that you guys aren't really even playing Smash anymore, you're playing just against each other and that's it. So you're stifling your growth just from that alone. And my advice in that regard is not to necessarily play an Elite Smash, but try and get into other Discords, invite other people into your practice sessions. Just have some variety with the people that you play against. In some cases, you might play with someone who you consider to be worse than you, and that's okay. But they'll play a character that you never fight against, and you're getting destroyed based on gimmicks, based on your own habits, not lining up with their habits as far as they might do something that directly counterplays what you like to do, and so you have to adjust, and that's going to make you a better player right off the bat. Number 4, and we're gonna go through these real quick, boys. Number 4, and this is kind of the same, it kind of ties in with number 5, but number 4 is you always play for fun, which means you are obviously never serious when you're fighting. When you fight against somebody, you don't care if you win, you don't care if you lose, you're going for style, you're not really paying attention to anything, and you'll just play however you really want to. You'll play with any character you want to, sometimes you'll play on random. And here's the thing, you are fully allowed to play the game for fun. That's totally fine. But what we're talking about right now is why you're not progressing. So if you always jump into Smash, you get into Discord, or you play with your friends, and right off the bat, you're like, all right, depending if you're old enough, you might be cracking a couple beers, chilling, or you might be just, I don't know, hanging out at home and you're kind of just sitting back like this and you're just playing and hours are going by and you're not really paying attention to what's going on. You're kind of just there. Your hands are staying busy more so than you're actually practicing anything or even paying attention to a matchup or trying to learn anything at all. So that's going to be number 4. So you're playing for fun too much. There has to be a balance. Of course, the game's supposed to be fun, but you want to also try and progress, and progression takes work. So there's going to be some balance there for sure. Oh, this is a big one. This one, I don't even know. This one might actually be, for some players, this could be number 1 for some players, but this is number 3 because the list says so. So number 3 is you always play on the same stage. And this might sound hilarious for some people, but believe it or not, there are tons of people who only play on one stage. And for a lot of players, that one stage is FD. And it's crazy. Just playing Omega random, and that is it. And they get the variety of the different backgrounds and music and stuff like that. But for the most part, people just play on FD. And the reason why that's bad is not because, well, there's a couple reasons why it's bad. Number 1, you're only playing on FD, so you're not getting the variety of other stages to get used to, but you're not playing on platforms at all. I've had a lot of players that have coached in the past or even left comments on other videos saying, how do I play around platforms? How do I work on platform movement and stuff like that? And the number 1 question I have for them is, what's the main stages that you play on? And most players will say they either play on FD or I'll play on Battlefield, but I don't like it. It's like, okay, so you're basically playing an Elite Smash, which is totally fine. If that's how you get your practice, if you're not in a Discord or something like that and you only play an Elite Smash, or maybe you play with your friends and they don't like the other stages, so you just kind of gentlemen agree to play on FD and Battlefield and that's it. And I get that, but by neglecting playing on PS2, Smashville, Yoshi's Story, Lilat, Kalos, Town and City, Small Battlefield, all these other stages, you are neglecting a huge portion of the game. And ultimately, if you ever decide to compete, you're going to get put into a pool of people who are going to ban your favorite stage. And if you're not used to any other stages, even the fact that, oh, the width of the stage is different, or the blast zones are different, or there's platforms at all. I'm getting stuck on platforms. I can't fall through them. I'm constantly teabagging on the top platform of Battlefield, and I can't help it, even though it's kind of what I wanted to do in the first place, but I didn't want them to know that. If that's happening to you all the time, you're going to be super annoyed when you get stuck on platforms, and you're not going to want to play on those stages ever. So when you get put into a situation where you have to compete on PS2 or compete on Smashville, you're instantly going to be put into a mindset where it's like, you know what? I already feel like I'm going to lose because I'm so incredibly uncomfortable playing on this stage. So rather than practicing on these stages, a lot of people just decide to not compete or hope to God that they end up on FD or maybe Kalos or maybe Town, where there's very minimal platforms, or the platforms completely disappear and are not even an issue. So with that, the biggest thing you definitely want to do is get other stages into the mix. You can throw your stage selection into random if you want to, or you can go out of your way to say, okay, today I'm just going to play on Lilat. I hate Lilat, but I want to make myself like it. So if someone counterpicks me there, it's a huge mistake on their part. It's not like they're going to get lucky and cheese me because I don't like the stage. I don't know how it works. I don't know how the slants work. I don't know how platforms work. I'm not good at maneuvering around platforms. I get stuck under the stage all the time. I'm just going to die for free. So practice on those stages for sure. Not just Lilat, but Yoshi's Story, Smashville, PS2, Battlefield, Small Battlefield, literally everything. Always practice on all the stages. I'm not saying to neglect FD, but if you're someone who is that player who's always on FD, or maybe for another player you might be someone who only plays on PS2, whatever your character or whatever your stage is, at your main stage that you love to play on, try and mix it up. That's going to be a huge thing. It's going to elevate your game right off the bat. Number 2 on the list, and this is kind of a character thing, but this is that you never ever lab anything. You never actually practice your combos, ledge trapping, or anything like that. And in some cases, you might say to yourself that you don't know how to. And I get it. There's a daunting feeling, I guess, or this insurmountable hurdle that you can't really get over if you're someone who doesn't know how to lab. You get into the training room and you just stare at the other character and you stare at the combo counter and you say, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to start. Right? And in some cases, a lot of players will fall into the trap, I guess you could say, of only labbing what is a true combo, where it's like, okay, if this combos, this is worth knowing. So okay, well, for Falco, up tilt, up smash is true, but I would never do that. So how do I know it's not good? It's like, because there's other things that are much better to do. And how do I learn those things? Through labbing, through practicing against other players as well, to say, if I'm practicing with somebody who can get out of most of this combo, for example, and then they jump, I have to lab, what do I do if they jump? Or if they air dodge, I have to lab, what do they do if they what do I do if they air dodge? Or what do I do if they have a combo breaking move like a frame 3 nair, or a frame 1 like a bat within, or Shulk's shield art, or something like that? Those are the types of things that you should be labbing, on top of practicing sharking under platforms, practicing your movement. As far as practicing your movement, that would be practicing your fast falls, practicing your walking, practicing your dash walking, if you actually know how to do that. I can actually link a video. Speaking of which, shout outs to Ronan X. I'm going to put a link in the description to his dash walking video if you've never heard that term before. But these are small things that you should most definitely be practicing, or at least be aware of. So if you know that, let's say you happen to miss a punish, or someone's jumping past you or rolling past you or whatever, rather than just saying, oh, I wasn't fast enough, there could be another strategy that you could put together for yourself to say, okay, this is what I should have done. And although I didn't do it here, because in the moment I wasn't ready for it, I at least know what I should have been doing. I know how I could potentially solve this problem. This is probably the worst, if not the best, for me. I don't know what you want to call it. It's number 1. And this is playing Smash Ultimate for long periods of time with no actual goal. And this is not the same as playing for fun. This is entirely different from playing for fun. Playing for fun means you don't care if you win, you don't care if you lose, whatever. Sure, you play whatever characters you want. You might play on random stages. You might play with items. You might not play with items. Doesn't really matter. You're not trying to play for money. Like, it is what it is. But playing with no actual goal is one of the scarier things to fall into, because a lot of the time you think that you're practicing, or you think that you're grinding, and a lot of people will say that kind of stuff, where, oh, I've been in the lab, or I've been practicing, I've been grinding, whatever it is, and all you're really doing is playing a serious matchup against your friend for hours, and you're not retaining anything, you're not practicing anything, you're not stopping and asking questions, you're not theory crafting, and you're not testing anything. You're just playing best of fives, or you're playing best of threes, or you're playing an infinite best of series where it's like, oh, I had a grind session with a friend for 4.5 hours, 5 hours playing the Marth versus, I don't know, Sonic matchup or whatever the matchup is. After your 6 hours or 5 hours of playing, which is a very long time to be grinding for, you walk away and you didn't actually learn or practice or remember anything. All you did was play. So every single time they got out of the corner, for example, let's say Sonic's getting out of the corner, it's like, okay, I should have just been faster, or next time I'll just get him. Or you're not testing different stages to say, okay, how does he actually react on this stage? Let's say if I have him on Kalos or Town versus on Smashville or Small Battlefield. So if he's on those stages, how does the Sonic player play? Is there anything that I could take advantage of as far as getting them trapped on platforms? As far as how did they get off the ledge? How did they edge guard me? Are they using a wall jump, right? Holy smokes. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's flipping, like I said before, NASCAR outside the window. That is the number one thing for me, where if you are someone who's actually like consciously wanting to get better and you just play, it's like, okay, I'm going to fight against my best friend as far as my best skilled friend, and we're just going to play. Honestly, record your matches. That's 100%. Record your matches. If something crazy happens, don't say, yo, that was sick. Be like, yo, why did that happen? Whether it was something that you did that was cool or that they did that was cool, be like, is that even possible to replicate? Was it a once in a lifetime thing that just kind of happened out of nowhere? And if it was something that was really good that you did, you should be like, okay, I don't even know what I did, but I'm going to try and figure it out to see if I can do it again because it was super good. I guess this is kind of like an honorable mention. Like we talked about, I have 2 honorable mentions. So this is not part of the top 5, but it kind of is. They're barely not on the list, but playing with players who you are substantially better than. That's kind of an obvious one. I didn't really want to put it in the top 5, but if you're constantly playing on people and you're 3-stocking them without even trying, 2-stocking, and you're, in my case, let's say I'm reading chat or I don't know, talking to a friend, or I'm in Discord and I'm not really paying attention, and it's no fault of the other player. But if you're playing with someone who is, like, if you're here, it's not like your friend is here, and that's what I mean by substantially better. I mean, like, they've never played the game good, or like you're trying to teach someone and that's your practice. Like, I understand the difference between teaching somebody and actually practicing as far as a grind, but you want to play with somebody who is at least exactly as good as you, if not better than you. It's like, okay, well, what if I'm this person and that person's way up here? It's like, okay, then don't practice with that person because they're going to be sandbagging, right? If you're the person that is considered the lesser of 2 players, don't play with somebody who is so much better than you as far as practicing. Just play with someone who is close to your level or slightly a bit better than you. That's going to be one of the better ways to improve in that regard. And then the other thing, playing the same character all the time and only that one character. And I'll say that there's a reason why this is actually important. This could actually be on the top 5, to be honest. So this one is, although you may not want to main a character like Ike or Peach or Bowser or Greninja or Snake or anything like that, maybe those aren't your mains, or not even a pocket or secondary, you have zero interest in playing those characters competitively at all, you should still learn them to an extent to know how they work. Because more often than not, and this is a very valuable tool as far as learning a matchup, if you play a character that you don't know how to play at all, very often you're gonna throw out moves that are not good at certain times, and you're gonna see how punishable they are. It's like, wow. For example, Rob's Nair, if he throws it out too early, the whole end of his move is wide open. So if you don't know that, for example, you'd be like, okay, his Nair is so hard to punish, but then you try it, and it's like, yeah, this character's Nair sucks. This character's horrible. Clearly not a horrible character, but you get what I'm saying as an example for Rob, where it's like, okay, I don't know how to use this character, so I'm playing them very horribly, but now I can actually see that if somebody happens to make this mistake, I can punish this. Versus saying, yeah, this character's Nair is just broken, or their up air, down air, back air, down tilt, whatever it might be, is completely broken. It's like, no, it's not that it's broken in some cases. It's more so that the player that's using them is placing them in a good spot. So you can see the difference between your own play, which might be placing it in a bad spot, versus a player who's quite good with that character and placing it in a good spot. Now, even that good player, though, might mess up sometimes. So if you say, okay, he did a full hop Nair, and he Naired way too early, and I know he can't jump right away, I can just hit him, or I can grab him, or I can up tilt him, or up smash, or whatever I want. And those are some things for a lot of players that if they don't happen to put themselves in that position and try that character for themselves, they'll never actually see that. Looking at ultimate frame data and looking at the the frame data of whatever move you're looking at, it can give you some insight based on, okay, this character's has this much startup, it's minus this on shield, has this much end lag, the hitboxes are here. It's like, okay, great. But that's also useful, or more useful, when it's placed perfectly. What happens if the move is spaced too far away or too close, or landing on your shield, or backwards, or they do it too early? If those things happen, can you punish it at all? If they have very little end lag, do you know that, for example, I'll say like Mithra's Lightning Buster, for example, borderline no end lag on that move. So if you try and run in and go for a grab, you're going to get down tilted, forward tilted, or potentially at least jab. Jab's also frame 2. So if you know that that move is going to come out right away, it's a very strong chance that if a Mithra happens to miss a Lightning Buster, they're probably going to swing instantly. So do you have a move that has range to outrange them? Are you going to jump over the top and try and land on top of them with like a down air? Or can you shoot at them, right? If they're going to go for a jab, they're probably going to go for a multi-jab because they're mashing that jab as well. Can you punish them after the jab? So stuff like that. In some cases, you don't have to actually play the character to figure it out. You can also just see it. But for some players, they just never see it. And it's like, okay, this character has no lag. It's like, no, they do have lag. Or they have lag on the next move. Like, same thing with like Young Link. Young Link has borderline no lag on almost all of his aerials, except for like down air and up air as far as on shield. We're not going to up air on shield. So let's say Young Link's Nair, if his Nair is entirely safe on shield, falling Nair is safe, rising Nair is not. Does he do a rising Nair right after, or does he jab or down tilt or throw a boomerang or what? Because everything after is not safe. See Nair, then instantly jab. Same thing. After the jab, that's not safe. So you can punish those things. And if you're someone who, like I said before, is someone who doesn't really play those characters, you're going to find yourself making a ton of these mistakes, and then you can identify them a little bit easier in the future. I low-key just popped off without even breathing for so long. But I want to do... That was a good clap. I want to do a bonus question. One bonus question. What about being angry when playing? Okay. We could maybe run with this one. So, angry when playing as in like tilted at the game, or like angry because of things that happened outside of life, and then you're just going to sit down and play, and now you're just playing in a bad mindset. Here's the thing. If you're someone who's in a competitive setting and you are, I guess, tilted or angry or annoyed about something, if it's unavoidable as far as not being, it's not unavoidable to not be tilted, but it's unavoidable to not play. Like, you can't just take a break because it's literally a best of 5 and you're playing in a tournament. If that's the situation, you have to play, right? So I guess the one thing for me, I don't know, it's a little bit tough for me because as far as being tilted for myself, if I don't really get tilted at this game. There's some things where it's like, all right, that's dumb, I guess. But I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna lose sleep over this, or oh, I'm so mad this person's so brain dead bad at the game and they're playing some bullshit character named not Ness, not Sonic, not Luigi, not Game & Watch, not Simon and Richter. Name your pick. Not Yoshi, bro. I never said that before in my life. But if any of those things have ever happened, for me, I'll typically just camp. Instead of being ultra aggressive, be like, all right, I'm literally just gonna sit back and just let you lose. Because if you're going to try and out frame data me, and if I'm playing tilted, the number one thing when you play aggressive, or when you play tilted, is you start to get more aggressive. You're like, I just want this person to die so I can just not do this. That's the number one thing that crosses most players' minds. I want this person, or I want this character, I should say. Hold on, calm down. Don't cancel me. I want this character to die so I can just not fight them. So I'm going to just go for F smashes and back airs and every strong move that I have to just try and end the game as quickly as possible so I can just not be a part of this anymore, because it's ruining my day and it's ruining my life. So although that's what you want to do, the fact that they are not playing like that, if you decide to just run it in dash attack or run it in F smash because I'm better than them anyways and I just want to get out of here, then then what I'm gonna do is just try and get the game finished as quick as I can, right? But if you're doing that, you're basically leaving yourself wide open to be punished more and more and easier by them. Every time you try and go for an F smash, they just run up and shield because you're now playing in a one-dimensional play style. All they're gonna do is run up and shield, grab you, run up and shield, narrow to shield, run up and shield, up smash. And if you're playing aggressive, like I was saying, you're probably not gonna grab that much. So the real answer for you as far as making things easier to at least not necessarily be less tilted, but not let being tilted ruin your game, is legit just camp. Just sit back and be like, I'm not dealing with you. right? I'm gonna wait for you to do something stupid, even though you're trying to be careful. I'm gonna be so careful that I'm basically not even playing. And it sounds weird to say that, but that's honestly one of the better things that you can do, because if you play ultra passive, then you have a very small chance of making a huge mistake. Play super passive, walk around, use your forward tilt and your jab and just small things like that until you can get to a super high percent and then just kill them with something that's guaranteed. If you have a kill throw and it works at 160, then just get them to 160. If you have to time them out, great. But here's another thing too. If you're playing in a friendlies setting, and by friendlies I mean no money on the line, you didn't drive somewhere to do this, and you're tilted, then just take a break. Just take a break, stop playing, go get a glass of water. Honestly, water is broken, bro. I don't know if I can say that. When I had my first coaching session with Zepic, for example, I wasn't tilted at all, but I was just drained, and my reaction time was garbage, and I was getting shit on. I'm like, bro, this is bad. And then I'm like, you know what? Let me just go get a glass of water. And it was basically like a super mushroom, because I came back, and I was actually able to play and react and enjoy the game. And sometimes, like, honestly, this is actually the secret hidden strat. If you want to take away anything from any of this, guys, the secret hidden strat, realistically, is if you're feeling super annoyed while you're playing Smash, there's an incredibly strong chance that you're dehydrated. And I'm not even kidding. Incredibly strong chance that you are dehydrated. Forget everything I said before. It's important, and mentality-wise, yes, but the number one fixer for sure is just going and getting a huge glass of water. You would be surprised if you are like having. If you have no water if you're super dehydrated, it's basically like you have no oil in your car, right? Your eyes are half closed, your reaction time is garbage, your ability to concentrate is garbage. Like, it's all bad. It's literally all bad. So, huge glass of water, jug of water, camel pack on your back with the thing, you know, whatever you want to do, right? G Fuel, if you have it, sponsored. No? Okay, I'll see you later. But you get what I'm saying. Something. Just have a huge drink of something and you will feel a lot better, as long as it's not an alcoholic drink. But water is broken, for sure. Boiling Pot, you goddamn right. This is a sponsored video, guys. You all got baited. Oh my god. You all got baited so fucking badly. Can't believe you fell for all that shit. That was all a lie. This entire video was a lie. It was a water sponsored video.